Okay, we all know the B58 is basically the modern day 2JZ that uses engine in a bunch of different BMWs, the Toyota Supra, and this M340i. And it doesn't take all that much to unlock the full potential of this motor. Holy f***, okay. This thing is insane. In this video, we're going to be going through all the modifications done to this M340i that makes over 800 wheel horsepower and what it's like to daily one. Alright, first up, launch control, 3,500 RPM. Okay. This does 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.3 seconds. It also does a 100 to 200 kilometer per hour pull in just about 4.34 seconds. We're running this right now on an E70 mix, and this thing is just dumb fast. And it's also crazy loud too. What we have here is an unopened stock motor. The internals remain the same. It's already a very strong unit from factory that can handle a ton of power. It's a 3.0 liter inline six motor, and from stock it makes 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. But this car has been modified, as you can tell. What we've done to it is add a 6870 precision turbo. It's a dock racing turbo kit. We also have a CSF charge air cooler manifold to cool down this engine. And while the OEM water-cooled intake manifold is adequate for regular driving and just a little bit extra power like a stage 2 tune, with all this power you definitely need something that won't heat soak. So this is pretty much needed for this car. And you can definitely hear everything rattling in this car, because we're running an open dump right now and a downpipe on this car, so it is quite loud. We also have 1050cc IDX injectors in this car, and we have a Visconti low pressure fuel pump so we can run ethanol in this car. We also have a Motiv reflex to control the port injection, the boost, and the low pressure fuel pump. And this thing is custom tuned by this guy, which I'll attach above. Alright, second gear pull at 4,000 RPM. Okay, god damn, what we get here is 860 wheel horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque. All that power, the OEM transmission will slip a little bit, so we have an ATS stage 1.5 transmission in here. It's much better, and it can handle all that torque so we don't slip. And the shifts in here feel a lot more aggressive. See the fourth gear send here. Oh my god. This thing is actually nuts. Getting all this power down is a bit tricky, but luckily we do have the X drive in this M340, and we are running Nitto NT555 R2s. And they're 275 in the rear, and they're a bit wider than the OEM tires, which really help put this power down. Up front, we're just running the OEM PS 4S tires. Also, this turbo in this car just sounds so good. Okay. Oh my god, and the burbles on this car is insane. We are running 34 PSI of boost right now, but there is a kill map which does 43 PSI of boost. We also have this Vargas X-Drive controller where you can just send all the power to the rear wheels if you want. Essentially like MX Drive in the M3 and the M4. So when you do want to have a little bit of fun, you can do so. But even from stock, the car naturally sends a lot of the power to the rear wheels already, so you won't be able to send the car and get the back out regardless of X delete. And when you're launching this car, it basically sends a lot of the power to the rear still when you're in Sport Plus, so it is slipping a little bit. Handling wise, this car is pretty much the same as stock. It's great handling to begin with. It's a heavy car, but it doesn't feel like it weighs almost 4,000 pounds. So it hides the weight really well. The LSD helps put that power down, and it's a blast to drive on twisty roads and even more fun in a straight line. The B58 is an incredible motor. People are literally just downloading tunes off the internet. You get downpipes and a Stage 2 tune, which is basically every other M340i or B58 out there. Stage 2 downpipe, Stage 2 downpipe. And they're able to get like 500 horsepower out of the car. But with the setup right now, unopened motor, it is still insane. Fourth gear. Third gear. My God. Holy crap. This thing is ridiculous. Downshift. Pretty good shifts too. It is so easy to get so much power out of this engine. Even with this unopened motor right now, stock internals and everything, we can already push this type of power. The car already comes with forged steel crankshafts, plus forged steel connecting rods and forged aluminum pistons. The motor is basically bulletproof. It's rated so well as an engine in both power and reliability, and it's also efficient at the same time. It's basically the modern day 2JZ. Just a great engine to build on. You could also get the Toyota Supra, which is basically the same engine, same motor, and it's about 500 pounds lighter, so it's even faster on a roll. The only thing is that you lose that X-drive, so getting power down to the ground is a little trickier, and you lose the practicality of an M340. Is there any issues with dealing this car? Not really. Only thing is that it's loud, but you can just throw an exhaust on in this car, and it negates that. Fuel economy is still really good. It's been averaging 21 miles per gallon, which is insane for the amount of power this car pushes. And you can just daily this car on pump gas, and you're not getting mid-teens fuel economy from an American muscle car. It's still efficient, it's still practical. This car still has its back seats, and it's still perfectly fine to daily. You can take this to Costco with plenty of space in the trunk, and then have some fun with it on the weekend. You can watch my full review on a stock M340 here if you want to learn more about all the features and tech, which is all covered in that video. Alright, in terms of what we got done to the outside of this vehicle, we have a front lip, a rear spoiler, super speed wheels in the rear right now with those Dyno tires that are much wider. In the front, we're running the OEM wheels and the OEM tires. We also don't have the exhaust pipes back here right now because we are running on a dump, so there's nothing going on there. And there is the H&R lowering springs on this vehicle, which lowers the vehicle by 1.3 inches. It really brings everything together. It'll basically pass as a stock M340. Nothing crazy, very subtle sleeper build, which is great because no one knows this vehicle is pushing this much power. It basically looks like a normal M340. There's also the LCI version, but this here is a pre-facelift. Nowadays, most cars I drive, whether it makes 1200 horsepower through some electric motors or a land yacht that makes 700 horsepower, I still find pretty dull to drive. There isn't really much of an emotional connection between me and those cars. BMWs though, especially their M lineups and even their M Light cars like this with the B58, is just unlike anything else. For the money, the M340 is wicked fast and fun, and it might not be as fast as something like an EV Tesla Model S Plaid, but this gets really close and you're overwhelmed with emotions and adrenaline driving it. Even with all the mods, this car is half the price as a Plaid and it puts down very similar numbers, but there's a lot more character and it's a lot more fun. So yes, if you're considering a P58, you're already on the right track to having some real fun. You're choosing something reliable and efficient, and if you do modify this car, it just makes the experience a whole lot better. A V8, 472 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and over $60,000. This is an IS500. And at almost the exact same price, this is the M340i. It has 382 horsepower, B58 engine, and all-wheel drive.